So the reason I came in to do the research I'm doing, which is exploring people's attitudes towards the use of genomic technology, the reason that was deemed important was because policy is popping up all over across the world about what to do with incidental findings, and it's not based on any empirical data on what people want, and you don't know what people want unless you actually ask them. So I've set up an international survey that has gathered the attitudes from 91 different countries, 7,000 people. We've involved health professionals, genetic health professionals, surgeons, nurses and midwives, genomic researchers, members of the public, all the main different stakeholder groups, and asked them, what do you think about sequencing in a research setting, and what data do you think should be shared with the research participant? And what's been really interesting is that we found that most people say, yeah, I think that's quite a good idea to consider sharing certain categories of data. Some people say, oh yes, I just want to know everything, everybody should know everything. Other people are much more cautious and say, okay, if the information could be used in an actionable way for prevention, for actually changing the course of somebody's health, then that's important. But uncertain data, no, we shouldn't be sharing that. So this is the largest study in the world currently, and the idea is that it will inform policy really in a genuine sense about what people actually want. But basically the findings are showing that people do want the sharing of data. The most cautious people are the genetic health professionals, I think because they're the most realistic about how this works in the clinic. They understand how a research finding needs to be confirmed in a clinically accredited lab before it can be shared. They know about the difficulties of actually communicating this with families. And they also know about and really understand the difficulties with interpretation and how we are at this very new stage in terms of interpretation. So yes, the genetic health professionals were the most cautious, and actually the British and the Irish were the most cautious geographically out of everybody in the world. One of the interesting findings from the research is looking at the type of people that have answered the questions, and what I found were some people said that they would want to know absolutely everything about their genome. So they wanted information about serious life-threatening conditions, through to how they might respond to medications, through to data that can't be interpreted, through to data that's completely uncertain, through to raw sequence data. So, and even if they didn't know what they would do with that raw sequence data, they just wanted it because it belonged to them. Whereas there are other people that we've called information discriminators who are a little bit more cautious about it and seem to think a little bit more carefully about how would I actually use this information. So those are the ones that are more likely to say, yes, I want treatable, preventable information, but I don't really want anything else. I can't actually deal with all of this information. So there's two different information seekers that we found in our research. And I think that's very relevant when thinking about the clinic, thinking about consent forms, thinking about, do we share everything? Do we share only certain things? Do we make certain categories available? Do we give people the option to opt out? Well, I think that's actually very important, that autonomy is at the heart of this. People make their own choices about what information they have, and it's very clear that there's no one rule fits all.